everyone, and welcome to Rural Roots, a road less traveled, a podcast by North Country Healthcare.
We're your hosts. I'm Gavin Cook.
And I'm Ren Anderson, and we're so glad you're here. Gavin, we have Luellyn Valtin from our Performance Excellence team with us today. Welcome to the pod, Lou.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Glad that you are here. So, why don't you start by sharing a little bit about your road less traveled into healthcare quality and what drew you to this work in the first place?
Well, it wasn't my first road. My first road was in the legal field. I was a paralegal for about 18 years in New Hampshire, and then moved my family to upstate New York to be closer to my in-laws. And I needed a job. So I applied at a local hospital, actually a healthcare system, a large academic medical center, and a few smaller critical access hospitals. And I was brought in to support the quality department. So that was my first introduction to quality. From there, I moved into risk management and patient safety and stayed at the larger medical center for about 9 years, and then had the opportunity to move to one of the critical access hospitals for quality, patient safety, risk management. Like everyone does in a critical access hospital, you wear a lot of hats. So that's the role that I took on. Really fell in love with critical access hospitals because it was like a small family. And stayed there for about a couple of years and then moved back to New Hampshire. Again, stayed within healthcare, stayed within quality and patient safety at another hospital in southern New Hampshire for a few years. Then I really got into critical access hospitals when I moved to the Foundation for Healthy Communities as the Senior Director of Rural Quality Improvement. I got to support the 13 critical access hospitals in New Hampshire. And that's where I really fell in love with critical access hospitals. And then had the opportunity to come here and support 3 of them full time. And that's where I've been. Today is actually my 1-year anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary, Lou.
Yes. I was just going to say, coming up on a year, but congrats on 1 year today. But speaking of that 1 year, I had my 1 year anniversary this summer too. And I think something that Ren and I have talked a lot about, but I think we've started to ask some of our guests is what stood out to you most in that 1 year here with NCH, and the people that work here. What's that one or maybe a couple things that have stood out about what makes us unique?
It's rural. I mean, I was in a rural area in upstate New York, but not as rural as northern New Hampshire. It truly is small communities that rely on the healthcare that they have in their communities. Everyone that I've interacted with at all the locations within North Country Healthcare want to do what's best for them, their families, their communities. Everyone has just been so helpful, and they just want to provide safe, quality care.
What a testament to our staff. I was going to ask you, what those common threads were, but I think you really hit it already, wove that right in. You wrote a newsletter article not too long ago called "What Does Quality Mean to You?" So for our listeners, how do you define quality in healthcare?
For me, quality in healthcare is making sure that we're doing the right thing for every patient, every time, that we are providing safe, quality care. Within quality, we look at a lot of data, and I'm sure you're probably going to ask me this question. But to me, data isn't just numbers on a graph. Every number represents a person, and we just need to make sure that when they come into any one of our facilities, they're being greeted, they're being met where they're at, right? We need to look at them as a person, not just as, another person coming into our ED, another person coming into our inpatient service. They're one of us, right? At some point in time, we are all going to be a patient, and we just want to make sure that when we're giving medications, we're giving them appropriately. When we're taking blood pressure, we're doing it all the same way. So it's just making sure that we're doing it the same way every time.
Yeah, I think you were alluding to this. I think when people hear quality metrics, their eyes sometimes glaze over. So,
Mhm.
how do you help our teams connect those dots between numbers and real patient care?
Uh, by letting them know that every number is a patient, right? When we look at falls, for instance, if we have 3 falls, um, it's just not 3 falls. It's 3 patients that fell.
Mm.
So it could be your mother, it could be your sister, it could be your spouse. Um, so we just have to make it real. We have to make the numbers real for them and put a person behind those numbers. Um, when I used to show falls data, I wouldn't just show a number, I would show a little person, right? We had 3 falls, we had 3 people. It's telling the story, right? Every number has a story, and that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Perfect.
yeah, I think about data a lot in my job, specifically storytelling and how we use data to tell stories. So it's exciting to hear you frame it in that way too.
We have a lot of work to do, don't get me wrong.
Me too.
We just sent out a survey to get an understanding of what everybody thinks quality is so that we know where we have to target that education. And it's interesting, people don't understand what quality is, so we have a long road ahead of us.
I think that's a great segue into what my next question was going to be, Lou, which was we actually just had Claire and Abby on recently from the Performance Excellence team, and we asked them as well what performance excellence means or what quality means, and I think they gave a really unique answer. But I'd love to hear from you what exactly performance excellence and quality mean to you, or what they mean at NCH.
Really good question. Then you're helping me educate the head of the whole quality team in educating. Um, so it really is about looking at our processes to find out where we can make improvement. Um, we do that in quality by looking at event reports, right? So if we see the same type of event, we know that it's not the person behind the event that caused it. It's a broken process. And for us, it's taking any opportunity that we get to look at those processes, look at those policies, to see where we can make improvement so that staff feel safe, patients feel safe, and we prevent harm from happening, right? We want to be proactive. A lot of times, quality, patient safety, even performance improvement is reactive. Um, we want to get ahead of that and be proactive in those types of things.
Yeah.
That's great. And I know, well, people may not know this, but we do have a quality manager at each of our affiliates. So can you talk about the support that you provide them and the work that they do at each affiliate, and maybe what that collaboration looks like in terms of how they all collaborate, even though each affiliate is a little different?
Sure, absolutely. So you're right. We do have a quality manager at each location. So we have Millie O'Neill at Androscoggin Valley Hospital. We have Jade Marquis Calcia here at UCVH. That's where I'm sitting today. We have Ashley Agnew at Weeks Medical Center. We have Sam Lemire for Home Health and Hospice. And Lori Moran now actually just officially joined the quality team to support the Weeks Medical Center clinics. So it's a great team. When I officially formed the team and filled all of the vacant spots, we took the opportunity to take a look at their job responsibilities. You know, what do they do? What do they want to do? Mostly, and that's how we created their responsibilities. They do a lot of work. Um, they do everything from looking at event reports to actually doing peer review facilitation. So for the providers that are credentialed throughout North Country Healthcare, we need to make sure that the care that they're providing is safe. And so they facilitate that process. That's probably one of the biggest things that I don't think a lot of staff understand that they do. Rounding. We talk a lot about rounding. I want quality to be seen. I want them to be seen as a team member and not just walking into a department when, something needs to be reviewed that might not have gone well. And they do a lot of collaboration without me. They're always talking and sharing ideas, and the way I support the team is by letting them lead quality and let them lead the department. I don't tell them what needs to be done. They look at things and they let me know what needs to be done. It's shared decision making, really. But we want to make sure that staff know that the quality team is there as a resource if they have questions. I mean, historically, quality's always been seen as data geeks and data collection and data analyzation, but there's a lot more to it than that. So more to come in 2026
Yeah.
about
Great.
that.
Absolutely. And I think, what you're talking about with your ideals as a leader, and what you're hoping your team brings out is really trust and presence and communication and compassion. And I think that, you mentioned needing to move from that data geek persona, but I also know that all of those priorities show up in high reliability organizations, right? And you and I work on the high reliability organization committee together, but I wanted you to talk a little bit about that initiative and how it's tying into your work and what people should be on the lookout for in 2026.
Sure, absolutely. I'll probably get a little bit ahead of myself here. But as far as high reliability goes and those 5 principles, I think the quality team has a huge role in that, really because they're the ones that, again, see all of the incident reports. So they need to rely on those subject matter experts to review those reports. They're the facilitator. It's not their world, so they have to do that. They have to look at the investigation that's done on that and use the principle of reluctance to simplify. It's just not a matter of spoke to staff, reviewed report.
Right.
It goes a little bit deeper than that. And then making sure that that when we do put processes in place, that we're not just putting a Band-Aid on things. And so I think they're going to take on a really big role in high reliability. And even the piece that we talk about, we have a subcommittee, Just Culture, right? And that's one of the things, we're actually looking at a new incident reporting system, and we're going to embed the Just Culture algorithm within that new system so that staff feel comfortable reporting because they know it's not going to be a punitive response. It's not about blame, it's about fixing the processes. So I've already given my team a little heads up about the HRO goals that we have this year. But I think that they will play a huge role in that.
That's great.
That's great. And Lou, I think I'm going to ask, maybe this is a tough question to answer. I'm hoping not for you though, but we've mentioned the word relationship quite a bit already this morning. And I would love to just kind of hear, I know that for me, my work every day is built on the relationships I have with managers, directors. So I'd love to hear what, kind of the relationships in the quality practice look like and why they're so important for your team as well to create that, that comfortability with staff.
What a great question, Gavin.
So that when they do come around, they know what to expect and that it's not a bad thing. I'm getting ahead of myself and this is a long-winded question, but to give an example, when people hear HR with my team, they automatically think negative. Not always the case. Actually, 99% of the time, that's not the case. But what does that relationship process look like for performance excellence and quality?
Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah.
It is not a tough one. I've been doing this work for 20 years, and it takes a little bit of time to change the mindset when it comes to quality and patient safety. One of the things that I talked to the team about early on, because again, historically, quality was always seen as the police and only showing up when something went wrong and they needed to investigate it. That's one of the things that we want to overcome with rounding. So I asked the team to define what rounding looks like to them, to build relationships, to build trust, because our ultimate goal is to build psychological safety, where staff feel comfortable coming to quality, not quality going to them. That only comes with being seen in the departments, right? Going to staff meetings, introducing themselves, showing up just to show up and ask if everything's going okay. Do they have any concerns? So we're developing what those, top 3 questions look like. So that, and the organizations are small enough that they can do those rounds in the departments. So they become a part of the team and not just showing up when something goes wrong. But it takes time. I've been in a few organizations. It takes about a year. It takes a little bit of time. But when it starts to work when you're sitting in your office and someone comes to you to share a concern or to ask a question. That's when you've developed those relationships and that trust. So I can't wait for my team to get to that point. Maybe we'll do another, rural roots when we get to that point, and I can share our success stories.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Well, and I was going to ask, you're talking a lot about, like, we have a long road to go and there's a lot to do and we're at the beginning and we're looking a year out. So what gives you that optimism about where we're heading as a system?
A new team, fresh insight, fresh eyes, building those relationships at the locations that they're at. Knowing that, fingers crossed, we're going to have a new incident reporting system where we're going to be able to track and trend those process issues. It'll make it easier for the department leaders to, see those things.
Yeah.
We're going to hopefully roll out a program. We haven't really come up with a good name yet, but Great Catch. I don't know if you noticed over the past couple of months, we've rolled out Buddy the Bee. He is our quality mascot. So a lot of good energy around that, because you're right. Quality sees a lot of things that aren't going well, right? That's what we do. That's what we need to identify. But knowing that for one thing that doesn't go right, there are hundreds that do go right. So recognizing those, celebrating the wins. We don't do a lot of that, but we will be in 2026.
Oh, that's exciting. The Great Catch takes me back. I used to work for a local resort that will remain unnamed, but we had a program that was called I Caught You, and it was fish themed, and they'd throw bags of Swedish fish at us if we did well. So I'm really hoping that's what comes, because that's my favorite candy.
We will keep that in mind.
Well,
Gavin, I think it's time.
I was just going to say, I also think it's time for my famous question, Lou. I don't know if you've become aware of it yet, but hopefully so. I like to kind of hear from our folks that have joined us on Rural Roots about what makes them tick. So my famous question is, what makes you come back every day, even after those especially challenging days, ready for the work and committed to the work? What keeps you ticking every day?
That's a good question, right? Because people want to know, why do you keep doing what you're doing? For me, especially in the critical access hospital setting, is seeing the same faces day in and day out, knowing that they want to do the right thing, being a part of the team. I like challenges, so I like when we find things that aren't going the way that they should be going, because I like to fix those things. But that's what keeps me going. It's a small family. I've worked in a larger hospital. You think you know everyone. You know them by face. You don't really know them by name. But I do like coming into each one of the facilities and seeing people, you and Ren, and just getting to know people personally and not just because of the work that you do. So
Yeah.
that's what keeps me going every day.
Well, I finally, what outside of the work that you do, outside of quality and performance improvement, who is Lou? What brings you joy when you're not working?
Um, my grandchildren. So
Hmm.
I have four grandsons, believe it or not. Three of them are two.
Wow.
Wow.
So I have an 8-year-old grandson, and then within 1 year,
Wow.
our three children each gave us a
Wow.
grandson. So um, it keeps me busy.
Holidays must be
And they're
wild and
all,
magical.
yep, they're all within 2 miles. They live within 2 miles of me. So
That is awesome.
So
that's what
fun.
keeps me busy, and that's what keeps me going.
Oh man, I'm so glad I asked. Well, Lou, this is the point of the podcast where we wrap up, but you have 30 seconds to tell us anything North Country healthcare, performance improvement, healthcare in general, quality in general related. Anything you want to close us out on?
Sure, absolutely. Don't be afraid of your quality team. They're there to help you. Please reach out. If you need contact information, reach out to me. More than happy to give that to you. But they're there to help you with anything quality and safety related.
Great.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Lou. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.